What we have here are modern silver quarters. These are silver-proof quarters from 1992 to 2021. They all came from silver-proof sets, and I'm going to show all of them to you from 1992 to 2021. First off, we have the 1992. This was the first year of them, and as you can see, it has the heraldic eagle on the reverse. United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. And the front has Washington, In God We Trust, Liberty across the top, 1992, and the S mint mark. You can see that these are silver. From 92, we have the 93. Basically, it's the same coin, same design, with a different date. 93 goes to the 94. '94 goes to the 95. You can see these things have got some bad toning coming up on them. Starting to haze a little bit on me. Let's go here back to the 96. Back again to the 97. And finally, the 1998. Then in 1999, we started out with the state quarters. As you can see that, these will all be silver also. When we got to the state quarters, the mint changed the obverse. You can see the 1998. We have Liberty, 1998, and God We Trust. On the state quarters, we have United States of America, Liberty, and God We Trust, $quarter, and they both have the mint mark behind Washington's ponytail. Then, on the reverse, the E pluribus unum has been moved to the bottom on this one, and then the design for each state comes up. So we're going to go over each state one by one as it became a state in the Union. We're going to start out with the Delaware, the first 1999 quarter. Next, we will have Pennsylvania. Third one we will have is New Jersey. Next up will be Georgia. And the last one for 1999 will be Connecticut. Next will be the year 2000. These are very nicely toned, nice rainbow toning going on these. This is Massachusetts, the first one in 2000. Next we'll have the Maryland. Very nice obverse rainbow toning on that one. Then comes my home state of South Carolina. Then we have New Hampshire. And the last one for 2000, we have Virginia. Then comes the 2021s. The first one in 2021 was the New York. Second one would be North Carolina. Next in 2021, we have Rhode Island. Then we have Vermont. And the last one for 2021, we have Kentucky. Pretty coin. Next, we have the 2002 coins. And we'll start out with Tennessee. Next up will be Ohio. After Ohio, we have Louisiana. After Louisiana, we come up with Indiana. And finally, the last for 2002 is Mississippi. The old Magnolia State. Very nice coin. And that brings us to 2003. First coin is Illinois, the land of Lincoln. Let's start back with some more toning going on these. Very beautiful though. The next one is Alabama. The third coin for 2003 is Maine. Then we have Missouri. Finally, the last coin for 2003 is Arkansas. That brings us to 2004. We'll start out with Michigan, the Great Lakes state. Next up will be Florida. In comes the great state of Texas, the Lone Star State. After Texas is Iowa. And the last one for 2004 will be Wisconsin. This brings us to 2005, where we have the first coin in 2005 is California. Next up in 2005 is Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. From Minnesota takes us to Oregon. From Oregon, we go to Kansas. Nice rainbow toning on this one here. All this toning comes from these coins being stored in the Dansko album. And they spent many years in there before I put them into the airtights. And the last one for 2005 is West Virginia. That brings us to 2006, and the first state in 2006 is Nevada. I love those horses right there. After Nevada, come up to Nebraska. Gorgeous. It brings us to Colorado. After Colorado, we have North Dakota. Nice buffaloes. And the last one for 2006 is South Dakota. Next we have the 2007s. We start off with Montana. Big sky country. Pretty coin. Beautiful toning there. Second one will be Washington. Third one for this year, for 2007, is Idaho. Then we have Wyoming. And the last one for 2007 is Utah. Crossroads of the West. Now we're at 2008. And the first one in 2008 is Oklahoma. And this 2008 is the final year of the state quarters, too. Second one up will be New Mexico, the land of enchantment. Go back to that reverse again. Next we have Arizona. Next up is Alaska, the 49th state. That brings us to the last of the state quarters, which is Hawaii. Next came the 2009 District of Columbia and Territories quarters. The first one up is the District of Columbia. The old Duke Ellington. The second one is Puerto Rico. Now in 2009 they gave us 6 quarters in the set. Third territory would be Guam. Next is American Samoa. Next one is the U.S. Virgin Islands. And the last of the territories will be Northern Mariana Islands. Then in 2010, the Mint started with the America the Beautiful quarters. There's 5 in every year on this. First one in 2010 comes from Arkansas, and it's the Hot Springs quarter. Second one is Yellowstone from Wyoming. Third, we have Yosemite from California. Fourth one is the Grand Canyon out of Arizona. Then we have Mount Hood from Oregon. Then came 2011. And in 2011 started out with Gettysburg from Pennsylvania. Second one is Glacier National Park, Montana. Then we have Olympia out of Washington. Next, we have Vicksburg, Mississippi. And finally, we have Chickasaw out of Oklahoma. Then we have 2012, I cannot really pronounce it, Unique. It's out of Puerto Rico. Please forgive me for not being able to pronounce it. Next, we have the Chico culture from New Mexico. Chaco culture, I believe. Arcadia out of Maine. Then the Hawaii volcanoes from Hawaii, still erupting to this date. And the last one for 2012 is Denali in Alaska. It's a pretty coin. Next, we have the 2013s. This is White Mountain in New Hampshire. Next up, we have Perry's Victory in Ohio. Then we have the Great Basin, Nevada. Next, we have Fort McHenry in Maryland. And we have Mount Rushmore, South Dakota. In 2014, we have the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. Second one in 2014. Let's see here. Here we go. Shenandoah, Virginia. And we have the Arches in Utah. Next up we have the Great Sand Dunes of Colorado. And finally we have the Everglades in Florida. Brings us to 2015. And we have Homestead, Nebraska. Next one up, Tuskegee, Louisiana. I know I butchered that name, so please forgive me. Then we have the Blue Ridge Parkway, North Carolina. Then we have Bombay Hook in Delaware. Then we have Saratoga in New York. The next year is 2016. We start out with the first quarter of Shawnee, Illinois. The second one is Cumberland Gap, Kentucky. Then comes Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Next comes Theodore Roosevelt, North Dakota. Next we have Fort Moultrie from South Carolina. You lived just down the road from here for the longest time, so this has to be my favorite of the whole set. Then we have 2017 Effigy Mounds in Iowa. The next one for 2017 is Frederick Douglass, District of Columbia. Then we have the Ozark Riverways, Missouri. Next up is Ellis Island, New Jersey. Then George Rogers Clark, Indiana. That brings us to 2018. We have Pictured Rock, Michigan. Then we have Apostle Islands in Wisconsin. It's a pretty coin. Next in 2018, we have Voyagers in Minnesota. Then we have Cumberland Island in Georgia. Last one for 2018 will be Block Island in Rhode Island. And that'll bring us to 2019. We have the Lowell from Massachusetts. Next up is the American Memorial Park. This is in the Northern Marianas Islands. Then we have War in the Pacific, Guam. The San Antonio Missions in Texas. The River of No Return in Idaho. It brings us to 2020 with the National Park in American Samoas. Always thought I had the coin upside down when I first looked at this one. Pretty coin though. Weir Farm, that's in Connecticut. Then we have the Salt River Bay, U.S. Virgin Islands. Marsh Billings Rockefeller in Vermont. The last one for 2020 is Tallgrass Prairie in Kansas. Very pretty coin. And this will bring us to 2021 and the last of America the Beautiful coins, which is the Tuskegee Airmen, Alabama. And that will be the last year of this obverse design. Takes us full cycle back to the obverse that we saw on the 1992 to 1998 quarters. And with that, we have the new reverse, which is Washington crossing the Delaware. This is the final quarter for 2021, and I do believe this will be the new design on the back of the quarters as they're coming out, which we'll only probably get one per year now until they decide to change their minds again. With that said, this is the silver quarters from 1992 to 2021. Obverse and reverse shown on all of them. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.